A flight attendant crosses the line when she slaps a young boy mid-flight. What she doesn't realize is that the boy is the son of one of the most powerful black billionaires in the country. Within minutes, one phone call from his father doesn't just end careers, it shakes the entire airline industry. The morning sun spilled through the airport's vast glass windows as passengers shuffled through security, dragging carry-ons and sipping coffee. Among them was a boy named Jordan, no more than 12, with wide brown eyes and a quiet smile. He clutched his backpack and followed the flight attendant's directions toward his first-class seat. Jordan was traveling alone this time, a rare moment without his father by his side, but he carried himself with the calm confidence his family had instilled in him. The boarding process was smooth until whispers began to ripple through the cabin. A young black boy, seated in first class, immediately drew attention from a few passengers who didn't hide their judgment. Some exchanged skeptical glances. A woman 2 rows back muttered under her breath, "First class isn't what it used to be." Jordan noticed, but he did what his father always told him: hold your head high, never shrink yourself for anyone. He placed his bag neatly under the seat and settled in. But the tension simmering in the air didn't escape the eyes of one particular flight attendant. Her name was Diane, a senior crew member known for her sharpness, and not always in a good way. From the very start, her tone toward Jordan was different. When asking other passengers if they wanted water, she was polite, warm even. But when she turned to him, her voice clipped. "Don't make a mess, all right? First class isn't a playground." Jordan blinked, unsure how to respond. "Yes, ma'am," he said softly. Minutes into the flight, Diane returned with the meal service. Jordan asked politely, "May I please have the pasta?" She scoffed. "You mean the children's meal? We don't serve that up here." "I just wanted the pasta," Jordan repeated, his voice even. Something in her expression hardened. Maybe it was the way he didn't cower, or maybe it was her own prejudice bubbling up unchecked. Whatever it was, it pushed her to do the unthinkable. As Jordan reached for the tray, Diane snapped, "Don't grab!" And before anyone could react, her hand lashed out, striking his cheek with a sharp, humiliating slap. The cabin froze. Gasps erupted. A businessman in the aisle seat shot up. "Did you just hit that boy?" he demanded. Jordan's face burned, not just from the sting but from the shock. His chest tightened, his mind racing. He wanted to cry, but his father's words echoed again in his head, "Stand tall. You are worth more than their hate." Diane, realizing too late the eyes now locked on her, stammered. He was being unruly. He tried to grab." "No, he wasn't." Another passenger cut in, voice firm. "I saw everything." He asked politely, "You hit him." The murmurs swelled into outrage. Phones came out, passengers recording. Jordan sat motionless, tears threatening but refusing to fall. And in that heavy silence, he reached into his pocket, pulled out his phone, and dialed a number he knew by heart. "Dad," he whispered when the line picked up, his voice trembling. Something happened. Miles away, in a towering glass office that overlooked the city skyline, Jordan's father, Marcus Caldwell, answered the call. Marcus wasn't just any man. He was a billionaire, a titan in the world of finance and aviation investments. His commanding presence filled boardrooms, his decisions shaped industries. But in that moment, he wasn't a mogul. He was a father hearing his son's shaken voice. "What happened, Jordan?" Marcus asked, his tone calm but edged with steel. She slapped me. The flight attendant." Everyone saw. Silence on the other end. Then, quietly, "Put someone near you on the phone." The businessman sitting beside Jordan took the device. "Sir, this is Robert Hayes. I witnessed everything. The attendant struck your son without provocation. Half the cabin saw it. People are recording. This isn't going away." Marcus inhaled slowly. "Thank you. Please stay with him until this flight lands." When Jordan got the phone back, Marcus's voice was low but unshakable. "Listen to me, son. You're safe. You did nothing wrong. I'll handle the rest." He ended the call and immediately dialed another number. His assistant picked up. "Mr. Caldwell? Get me the CEO of the airline. Now." Within minutes, he was patched through. On the other end, executives stumbled over apologies, promising to look into it. Marcus's voice cut through them like a blade. "You don't understand. Your flight attendant assaulted my son. In first class. In front of witnesses. Videos are already circulating. If this is how your airline treats black children, then you have a far bigger problem than me." He didn't shout. He didn't need to. His calm fury was more terrifying than rage. Back on the plane, the tension thickened. Passengers were no longer just whispering. They were openly condemning Diane. "You need to step away from him," one woman said. A man in uniform, an off-duty police officer, stood. "If you don't move, I'll restrain you myself." Diane's face flushed crimson. She tried to muster authority, but the ground beneath her was crumbling. "You don't understand who you're dealing with," she snapped. Neither did she. Jordan sat still, gripping his phone, watching as strangers defended him. For the first time since the slap, he felt the sting lessen. People were standing up, not just for him, but against something bigger. The pilot's voice soon crackled over the intercom. "Ladies and gentlemen, please remain seated. We're experiencing a situation. Law enforcement will meet us upon landing." The passengers exchanged glances. The situation wasn't turbulence. It was Diane. Jordan looked out the window, his reflection staring back at him. His father's words echoed again. "You did nothing wrong." The plane touched down with a jolt. The atmosphere inside was electric, every passenger alert, phones still recording. When the doors opened, uniformed officers and airline officials streamed in. Diane's confidence faltered. She pointed to Jordan, desperate. "It was a misunderstanding. He was disruptive." But before she could finish, a hush fell over the cabin. Stepping through the doorway was Marcus Caldwell himself. He had chartered a private jet the moment he ended that call, beating the airline's own crisis team to the scene. His tall frame and commanding presence filled the aisle as he walked directly to his son. Jordan stood, rushing into his father's arms. Marcus knelt, checking his cheek with gentle hands. "You're all right now," he murmured. Then he rose, turning his gaze on Diane. His expression was calm, almost too calm. "You put your hands on my child," she stammered, words failing her. "I didn't mean. You didn't mean to get caught." Marcus interrupted, his voice measured. "And now you've shown the world exactly what kind of airline this is." He turned to the executives standing nearby, their faces pale. "Effective immediately, my firm is suspending all investments, partnerships, and contracts with your airline. That's a $2.4 billion freeze. Consider this the cost of your culture of prejudice." Gasps filled the cabin. Even the passengers who hadn't known who he was now stared in stunned realization. One by one, voices rang out. "We saw everything. She hit him. We have the videos." Marcus placed a hand on his son's shoulder, steady and protective. "You will answer for this," he told the airline executives. "Not just to me, but to the public, to the regulators, to everyone who has ever been treated as less than because of the color of their skin." As they stuttered, scrambling for words, Marcus turned, guiding Jordan toward the exit. The other passengers broke into applause, some rising to their feet. Not just for him, but for the boy who had endured humiliation with dignity, and for the father who refused to let it stand. By the next morning, headlines dominated every major outlet. "Billionaire pulls $2.4 billion after flight attendant slaps son." Videos from the cabin had gone viral, viewed millions of times. Public outrage surged. The airline's stock plummeted. Lawsuits piled up. And within weeks, Diane and the entire crew from that flight were terminated, their names forever tied to the scandal. But for Marcus, it was never about revenge. It was about sending a message. No one, no matter their position, has the right to strip another person of dignity. And when it happens, accountability must follow. As he tucked Jordan into bed that night, Marcus said quietly. You stood tall today, son. And because of that, the world stood with you. Jordan smiled faintly, finally drifting into peaceful sleep. And in the silence of that room, Marcus Caldwell made a vow to continue using his power not just for profit, but for justice. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful stories that reveal the truth about resilience, justice, and the courage to stand up against injustice. Your support helps these stories reach the world.